Get a life, nerd.
Hey everyone, Alkali Layke here, and welcome to part 2 of my stream room makeover. I am still not done with this room. I thought I'd be further along than I was, but I'm really excited with the newest addition that I just did today, which is the cool wall behind me, which also has some practical uses. It is also a sound diffusing wall. So, some cool stuff. We're going to talk about audio. We're going to talk about sound. We're going to talk about how to nerd up, level up your streaming space. No matter what kind of content you produce, content creators are just huge right now, especially after COVID-19. A lot of people are working from home. And if you're trying to find ways to maximize your sound for videos, whether it's for Zoom meetings at work, Twitch, TikTok, whatever you're doing, these sound tiles are amazing, and I think that you will love them, and I have a tutorial for you to show you how I got them on my wall. All right, before we get too much into business, let's talk about the difference in sound tiles. I have these behind me, and I also have them linked in the description below, and they are very beautiful, and they are really cool, and they come in multiple designs. But the only problem is they are not very good at sound absorption. So if you're worried about being too loud in the room that you're in, making too much sound, you don't want the rest of the house to hear. I stream late at night, so I don't want to wake up sleeping little tots. These are not the way to go. They look cool, but they are not the best for sound absorption. For sound absorption, you are going to want these tiles. I have not installed these yet. They'll be going in tomorrow. These are the sound tiles that are going to be going in right there, other side of the camera. I talk towards the wall. I don't want it bouncing backwards towards the rest of my house. So sound absorption tiles like these foam ones are really great for that. These tiles that I have behind me that we're talking about today are sound diffusion tiles. They help with echo and they help with other sounds in the room. These will be great at making your sound more harmonious and pretty. So if you like to have good sound and a more high quality type sound, these will absolutely help with that. They just will not help with reducing the sound of your room. Before we get into an in-depth how-to, I wanted to show you a close-up of the wall so that way you can see how I actually did the installation. I used these rose gold pins with a glass top to secure the tiles to the wall. I did have to pre-drill holes, and this was the best way I could find that I could temporarily adhere it to my wall without having to use glue or any other forms of adhesive. All right, so step 1, buy the tile. I know, so simple, but buy the tile. They come in many different versions. They have these really cool spiky ones that I almost went with, that I was kind of super in love with, and some geometrical ones. I really liked these soft ones. I think they're called leaf, and I like the circular pattern that they make on the wall. I might even consider extending it further on the side here and maybe even further down. Not quite sure yet, but they are about $15 for every 4. So you have to be careful because, so every 2x2 section that you see here, which is about, however many square feet that is, 4 tiles is $15. So this space here was approximately $60 to $70 to do. I think that's super worth it. It's not only decor, but it's sound diffuser for me. So figure out what type of tile you're going to want to have. If you choose the foam tiles I mentioned earlier in the video, I would not adhere them to your wall in this way. This is just for these plastic tiles that are very super difficult to adhere. Once again, their space that they have to adhere to the wall is incredibly thin. This is like 1/8 of an inch. You can't even get a contact strip here. Like a 3M strip will not work. You're either going to have to pin them to the wall, and if you pin them to the wall, you're going to need a little hole to do it, or you're going to have to use spray adhesive, which is sticky and gross. Or I don't know, there's a ton of ways to do it, like painter's putty, I believe, but I think this is the best way if you want to go with this cool look. Step 2, you need to have awesome text. I like these ones. I found them on Amazon. I'll link them below. They're very trendy because they're rose gold, so pretty cool. Not that you can really see that, but I know it makes me happy. So rose gold metal with the glass tops. They're super cute. If you want to nerd up, level up, and make it uber nerdy and less trendy, I saw some Disney ones. I want to say I even saw some Star Wars ones, but this is what I settled on in the end. Pretty nifty. Step 3, you need to drill holes into the tiles. This is a 1/16 inch drill bit. I've never used a 1/16 inch drill bit. I didn't even know they made drill bits this tiny. To be honest, it kind of freaks me out. I don't know why, but like tiny things like this, like, ugh, scary. Like, I don't know. Anyway, weird random moment. But when I started this, clamped them together. I have a picture to show you of that. And I clamped them together to make sure that I would be able to get this in this tiny thin material without shifting it too much and getting the holes to drift off center. You're really going to want these holes to go right into the center of the space as much as possible. This is a good example. This hole got right in the middle of this area. You don't want it too far to one side or too close to the middle, because then your holes will not line up when you go to put multiple ones together. As you can see in the video I did earlier of the wall, I have multiple tiles going through one pin. In some spots, I have 4 tiles going through one pin. And the depth of the pin is enough for all of the tiles to go through and still be a substantial distance inside the wall. So you don't have to worry about that. So as you can see, multiple tiles can go in to one pin. One thing I want to point out is that if you put too many tiles on one pin and if you're doing a very large area, it'll become unstable in the middle. I think that smaller areas are better for this type of method, because anywhere where there's less tile per pin is going to be stronger. So all the far corners only have 1 tile, and all the border tiles only have 2 tiles in the center. So all the edges of this frame, so to speak, are very tight and the pins are very close to the wall. This gives kind of a dispersion of how the tiles are pinned to the wall, and it's very strong around the edges, and it's kind of holding the middle together and keeping it compressed in. Again, I think I would do smaller areas, and then if you're going to do a very large area, maybe restart over and divide it in the middle where you're not putting so many tiles on one pin. I think I could probably extend this by 1 more row and maybe 1 more row down, but then I would start getting concerned about whether or not the middle of all of this was going to stay compressed to the wall. So keep that into consideration. Step 5, cool lighting. People keep complimenting me on my wall and how amazing the wall color is, and I'm like, it's just white. I painted my walls white. But I do have this nifty remote control for these nifty lights, which I will link for you. I am not sponsored at all. I will make no money from anybody who made the materials behind me. I do have Amazon links, and I make a tiny percentage off those if you happen to click on the Amazon links, but it is so minor, I don't even notice, and it might buy me maybe 2 coffees a month. So if you want to help support the streamer and content creator, click on the links below. Anywho, this handy remote changes the lights. Ooh, green. And I have multiple lights, so I can do different sections. So we can make that one blue, and we can make that one pink. So kind of cool, and I think that's why people were saying they like the wall color, but really, it's just all in the lighting. Whoa, step back. Step number 1. Step before step number 1, which I know I mentioned step number 1 earlier was to get the tiles. That's true, but before you can put them on the wall, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Level. Make sure to make a line on the wall and make a level strip before you start applying your first row of tiles. I wanted to make this very clear. Since these are square tiles, if you do not use a level, you will have crooked lines and all your tiles will not line up. So the step before the step that I should have mentioned before, use a level. Be smart. And that is it. I'm ready to go stream. I hope that this video has inspired you to change your streamer room as well. Look for part 3 of this room where I talk about how I make this cool craft desk and how I'm going to do the transition between streaming on Twitch and crafting on YouTube. I hope that you guys stay tuned for that. Make sure to hit like and subscribe on this video if you like content like this. Thank you, everyone.
Get a life, nerd.